Do fish actually feel pain? It's one of those questions that makes you stop and think, should I be considering this? Every time a fish is hooked, suffocating out of water or roughly handled, does it hurt? Do they feel what we think of as pain? These aren't the kinds of questions we usually ponder while enjoying our seafood, but this question has stuck with me since my university days. Picture this, I'm in class and our professor's up there bravely dissecting a fish that is very much alive. Everyone's taking notes on fish anatomy, and me, I'm not even slightly interested in the anatomy. I'm just staring at this fish thinking, is it screaming in fish language right now? So I raised my hand and blurted out, doesn't the fish feel pain? The professor, with all the confidence of a man who has spent too many years in academia, replied, no, fish don't feel pain. They might thrash around, but it's just reflexive. They're not thinking, ouch, because they lack the brain structure that allows them to feel pain in the way we do. So, what is pain? Pain? We all know it. That ouch moment when your hand meets something that it really shouldn't, like a sharp object. But scientifically, what's really happening here? This whole process kicks off with something called nociception, the body's way of sensing potential harm. Tiny nerve endings called nociceptors act as our first line of defense. The moment they detect something threatening, like the pressure of that sharp point, these nociceptors spring into action. They send urgent messages through your nerves, racing up to the brain. Once these signals reach the brain, something remarkable happens. This is where perception comes in. The brain takes those urgent signals and translates them, saying, this is pain. It pinpoints where you were touched and how intense it was, but it also triggers areas responsible for emotion. That's why pain feels more than just physical. It has a psychological and emotional weight too. Experiments that make us question everything about fish pain. First up, fish show reactions similar to other animals when they experience something unpleasant. If you shock or irritate a fish, it'll try to swim away quickly, kind of like how we might yell, ouch, and try to escape. Second, if you give fish a little pain relief, like morphine, they actually stop reacting so strongly to the chemical irritants like acid. This experiment shows the effect of morphine on two behaviors: rocking and rubbing after an acid injection. The acid group has a high frequency, while the acid morphine group has a much lower frequency. This means morphine can reduce his pain behavior. So some say if they're calming down, they must have been in pain, right? Third, fish show classic stress signs when things get intense, like faster breathing, higher heart rates, and yes, their very own version of a stress hormone called cortisol. So to some scientists, that's fish saying, this is uncomfortable. Fourth, fish have specialized sensory receptors called nociceptors that respond to harmful stimuli, much like humans. And here, as you can see, is an Atlantic salmon brain. Fish also have parts of the brain, such as the telencephalon and pallium, that process sensory information and control behavior in response to danger. This neural wiring helps fish detect and respond to threats, providing further evidence that they can feel pain. Fifth, fish can learn to avoid things that cause pain. For example, if they see a cue, like a light signaling an electric shock, they'll escape before the shock occurs. This suggests that fish have the ability to remember and learn what might harm them, which also indicates pain perception. Why do some scientists believe fish don't feel pain? Now, the idea that fish feel pain because they swim away from electric shocks is up for debate. Sure, fish do show reflexes, like twitching their tails when exposed to something unpleasant, but here's the thing. Studies show that these reflexes still happen even when their forebrain, the part of the brain that handles conscious thought, is removed. This suggests that their reactions are controlled by simpler automatic circuits in the spinal cord, not by a conscious experience of pain. It's more like this. Instead of thinking, ouch, that hurt, It's more like something's wrong, I need to move. Plus, fish don't have a cerebral cortex, the part of our brain that allows us to feel pain as an emotional experience. Without this, fish can't experience pain the way we do. Their reactions are more about survival and instinct, not about feeling bad or suffering. We've all heard pain helps animals protect themselves, right? Imagine this, a fish gets its tail fin injured. Now, if fish felt pain like we do, they'd probably swim a little slower or try to avoid using that fin, right? Well, surprise! Fish with injured fins or even missing tail fins keep swimming like nothing happened. They don't protect the injured fin at all. Even fish with fin rot, a condition where parts of their fins literally erode, continue eating and swimming like they're totally fine. So if fish aren't changing their behavior to protect themselves after injury, it raises a big question. Do they actually feel pain like we do? Here's the tough question. If fish don't feel pain the way we do, does that change how we treat them? When we catch them, handle them, or even harvest them, do we consider how they're experiencing those moments? Fish may not feel pain with the same emotional weight and suffering that we do, but that doesn't mean we should ignore their well-being. Even if they aren't experiencing pain, as we define it, how we handle them still matters. Their reflexes, stress responses, and the physical toll they experience are all real. So the verdict isn't just about whether fish feel pain. It's about how we, as caretakers of nature, can act responsibly and respectfully. Ethical handling matters, and there's a humane way to kill fish, like the quick cut shown in this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more.